History has always played a crucial part in the adventures of Indiana Jones, and none more so than in The Good Doctor's final chapter. But Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is also keenly aware of the history of the franchise, paying subtle tribute to the films that came before it. Besides playing around with time itself, Dial of Destiny is as much about our hero's legacy and what he's left behind as the titular dusty relic he's on the hunt for. There's an exception with this particular mystical MacGuffin though, as he's not the one initially looking for it. Instead, this treasure hunt begins courtesy of Indy's goddaughter, Helena Shaw. An item that has haunted most of her life, the dial was an obsession for her father and Indy's old friend Basil Shaw, who was trying to crack its hidden capabilities. Of course, if you know your Indiana Jones history, you'll know that Indy had his own treasure-finding troubles linked to his own father in one of the franchise's greatest adventures. Back in 1989, when most blockbuster series came in threes, Indiana Jones and his dear old dad, played by the late great Sean Connery, went off searching for the Holy Grail in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Junior, you did it!
No, Dad, you did.
Almost topping Indy's original adventure in Raiders of the Lost Ark thanks to the brilliant dynamic between its two leads, it's hammered home the message that family is always the most important thing. And surprisingly, given the details in Dial of Destiny, it's in a brief beat that Indy is reminded of just that. Throughout Harrison Ford's final stint as the iconic archaeologist, Dial of Destiny makes sure to tip its iconic fedora to the previous movies, with its most subtle nod saved for The Last Crusade. Following his reunion with Helena, she tries to persuade her legendary godfather to join her adventure, hoping to find the other half of the Antikythera. During the conversation, Indy questions why Helena would go after the treasure that drove her own father mad. Her reply is blunt and to the point. Wouldn't you? It's a reaction that hits a nostalgic nerve Ford effortlessly plays off without saying a word. Indy knows the answer because of the journey he took years before looking for his father, and then searching for the grail his own dad was obsessed with. The quest almost cost them both of their lives, if it weren't for that heartfelt hand from a loving dad and a request that still brings goosebumps.
Indiana, let it go.
Sadly, Helena doesn't get the same heartfelt lesson from her father, given that he's long since passed. Instead, it's left to a godfather to finally give her some perspective, in which in turn sets up a redemptive moment that Henry Jones Sr. will be proud of. The final act of Dial of Destiny, while a little more extravagant than The Last Crusade, echoes a scene in which Indy was quite literally put to the test to save his dying father. Like his dear old dad, Jones is taken out by a severe gunshot wound and is running out of time to get it tended to. Willing to stay where he is and become a part of the ancient world he spent his life studying, his goddaughter has other plans. She's determined to get the only bit of family she has left back to the present. Jones is adamant that he has nothing left to give if he returns, but Helena is intent on proving him wrong. It's another moment where a worn-down Jones boy is willing to call it a day, only for a young-blooded adventurer to ensure they don't throw in the towel. While it might not involve invisible walkways and healing magic like in The Last Crusade, Helena's resolution to keep Indiana Jones safe is still just as heartfelt. Doing so helps Indy realize that there's still life in the great adventurer yet, and another chance to make amends. After all, it's not the years, it's the mileage.